You have been awake for 24 hours straight. Your brain is already beginning to shut down in ways you cannot feel. Most people think sleep is just a pause button for the body, but it is actually a high-speed renovation project for the mind. When you stop sleeping, you aren't just getting tired, you are actively dismantling your own cognitive architecture. Let's look at the timeline of your biological collapse. After 24 hours without sleep, your brain exhibits performance deficits equivalent to a blood alcohol concentration of 0.1%. That is legally drunk. Your reaction times slow to a crawl. Your coordination drops. You are essentially operating a vehicle while impaired, even if you've had nothing but coffee. At this stage, your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for complex decision making and impulse control, starts to lose its grip. You become more emotionally volatile. You misinterpret social cues. A minor frustration that would normally roll off your back now feels like a personal attack. As you push into 48 hours of wakefulness, the brain enters a state of microsleep. These are involuntary, short bursts of sleep that last anywhere from half a second to 30 seconds. You might be staring at a screen or walking down a hallway, and suddenly, your brain simply blacks out. You lose time. Your eyes remain open, but your neurons have stopped firing in a coherent pattern. You are functionally offline, even though your body is upright. During these 2 days, the glymphatic system, a waste clearance pathway in the brain, fails to do its job. While you sleep, cerebral spinal fluid flushes out neurotoxic proteins like amyloid beta, which are linked to Alzheimer's disease. When you stay awake, these proteins build up in your synaptic gaps like trash in a city street that has stopped collecting garbage. Your neurons literally begin to choke on their own metabolic waste. By the 72-hour mark, the psychological damage escalates. The connection between your perception of reality and actual reality begins to fray. Studies on sleep deprivation, such as the famous 1964 experiment by Randy Gardner, who stayed awake for 11 days, show that after 3 days, humans often experience paranoia, hallucinations, and delusions. Gardner reported seeing street signs change into people. He struggled to remember simple sentences. His brain was so desperate for rest that it began to weave dream states into his waking life. This is the brain's emergency attempt to survive. It is essentially hallucinating sleep while you are wide awake. Why does this happen? The answer lies in the neurotransmitters. Sleep deprivation triggers a massive spike in dopamine and norepinephrine, which keeps you wired and anxious. But simultaneously, your brain's ability to process glucose in the thalamus and parietal lobe plummets. You are running on high-octane adrenaline while your engine is missing essential parts. Consider the 1989 study by Alan Rechtschaffen at the University of Chicago. He used rats to show the long-term consequences of total sleep deprivation. The rats were placed on a moving disc over water. If they fell asleep, they touched the water and were nudged awake. Within a few weeks, the rats didn't just get tired, they developed lesions on their paws. They lost the ability to regulate their body temperature, and they eventually died. Total sleep deprivation is lethal. The brain is the only organ that will effectively kill the body if it is denied the chance to reset. Your brain is not a computer that can be left running indefinitely. It is a biological organ that requires a nightly reboot to organize memories, clear toxins, and repair neural pathways. When you skip sleep, you aren't gaining extra hours of productivity. You are robbing yourself of the very function that makes you human. Think about the last time you felt foggy after a bad night. That wasn't just a lack of energy. That was your brain's desperate plea for maintenance. We treat sleep as a luxury or a chore we can cut back on to make room for more work or more entertainment. But in reality, sleep is the foundation of every thought, every memory, and every choice you make. Every time you choose to stay up an hour later, you are choosing to dull your own senses, suppress your immune system, and force your brain to function in a toxic environment. We value high performance, yet we ignore the only mechanism that allows for it. The next time you consider pulling an all-nighter, ask yourself what part of your intelligence you are willing to discard. Your brain is a magnificent, complex machine, but it has a hard limit. How much longer will you ignore the silence of a tired mind, and what will it cost you when the lights finally go out?